So you won't believe what our esteemed Vice President Kamala Harris has been caught saying on camera. It's time to expose the truth about her stance on reparations and her radical past. Today, we're getting into the heart of this political bombshell and uncovering what the mainstream media doesn't want you to know. So stick around if you want to know how Kamala feels about reparations and about her being a radical leftist. Let's get into it. Hey guys, welcome back. All right, patriots and truth seekers, gather around because we've got a good one for you today. Our illustrious vice president, the one and only Kamala Harris, has been caught red-handed supporting some form of reparations for black people. Can you believe it? Well, actually, you probably can. Try to focus with me here, okay? Regardless of how you feel about reparations, and regardless about how you feel about slavery in America, and regardless of how you feel about race relations in America today, I don't care if you're black, white, or purple, a vice president of the United States should never be so controversial and divisive in public during an interview as what Kamala Harris was that you'll get to see in a minute. Now, they used to say that Donald Trump was divisive, but what she just said, totally divisive. Now, before we get into the meat of this story, let me tell you something. The powers that be don't want you to know about this. They're probably scrambling right now to bury this information deeper than Jimmy Hoffa. Now, this is only 5 seconds long as Kamala talks to the root, but I'll tell you what. This is powerful stuff. Give it a watch.
Should black people get reparations?
I think there has to be some form of reparations, and we can discuss what that is.
And we can discuss what that is. So Kamala's on board for reparations because it's a radical idea that would probably make her popular. So picture this. It's 2019, and our vice president is out there spewing her racial ideas like an open fire hydrant. In a video that just resurfaced, let's see how many mainstream media outlets actually play this. So isn't that really peachy how she responded to that? Here's where it gets interesting, guys. A Pew Research poll from 2022 shows that a whopping 68% of Americans oppose reparations. That's right. More than 2/3 of the country is saying thanks, but no thanks to this idea. But does that stop our fearless leaders from the progressive left? Of course not. Now, let me break this down for you in a way that even a government bureaucrat could understand. We've got cities like Evanston, Illinois, and states like California jumping on the segregation bandwagon faster than a politician at a fundraiser. Even Harvard University, that bastion of elite thinking, has created a $100 million legacy of slavery fund. I guess they've got money to burn when they're not busy churning out future world leaders and discriminating against Asian students in admissions. So our dear Kamala wasn't just dabbling in reparations. Oh no, she was going full throttle on the crazy train. GovTrack rated her as the most liberal senator in 2019. That's right, folks. She was further to the left than Bernie, free everything for $21 Sanders. Even the New York Times, that beacon of unbiased reporting, right? They said that she was the least electable of 10 potential Democratic hopefuls. You know, when you're a radical leftist and you lose the New York Times, I mean, all right, so let me tell you something that really will make your head spin. Harris has a rap sheet of radical ideas longer than a CVS receipt. She's co-sponsored legislation to protect illegal immigrants, backed Medicare for all, wanted to ban fracking and plastic straws. Oh, the humanity. And even compared ICE to the KKK. I'm not making this up, guys. You couldn't make this up if you tried. Here is a list compiled by Breitbart News. Harris's radical record includes co-sponsored legislation to protect illegal immigrants from deportation, backed Bernie Sanders' Medicare for all legislation, backed banning private health insurance. Are you kidding me? She supported giving taxpayer-funded coverage to illegal immigrants. She supported banning fracking, regardless of what she says today. She backed defunding the police, compared ICE to the KKK, wanted to ban plastic straws, defended banning offshore drilling, wanted to undo the Trump administration's border security, taking 94 executive actions in the first 100 days to rescind nearly every Trump-era measure. Now, Biden signed those, but she was behind them. Supported decriminalizing illegal border crossings. She said she wouldn't treat illegal aliens as criminals. Why not? They are criminals. They broke the law to come here. She called for starting ICE over from scratch. She argued that temporarily closing the border violated federal law. She was the border czar. She raised money for the Minnesota Freedom Fund, that far-left organization that paid to get rioters out of jail, violent criminals, including accused murderers and rapists. I remember when she said, oh, no, this was not for that. This was just for peaceful demonstrators, peaceful protesters. Well, peaceful protesters don't get arrested, right? They don't. Rioters do. So she supported Los Angeles's cuts to their police department. She called efforts to add more police to the streets wrong-headed thinking. Are you kidding me? And she championed the administration's so-called Bidenomics as costs dramatically soared for American families. So like clockwork, with all slimy Democrats, Harris is trying to walk back a lot of her radical beliefs. She's now for securing the border after 4 years of doing nothing to stop the flow of millions of illegals coming in our country when she was the border czar. She's now trying to get people out there to say in media that she was never the border czar. Harris is now for fracking. Can you believe it? And by November, she'll have tried to convince voters that she was always in favor of fracking. She always supported it. And the big one, the big kahuna reversal, is that Kamala Harris no longer supports single-payer health care. All right. Now, I know what you're thinking. Rich, how can we trust anything these politicians say? Well, my friends, that's why I'm here, to shine a light on the darkness and expose the truth. And the truth is, if Harris gets into power, you can bet your bottom dollar that she'll be pushing universal health care down our throats faster than you can say socialized medicine. But let's talk about this reparations thing again for a second. Here's a question that'll really make you think. If there are no people alive today who were slaves and no people alive who owned slaves, then how in the Sam Hill can you tell people who never owned slaves that they have to pay money to people who were never slaves? It's like trying to solve a Rubik's Cube blindfolded while riding a unicycle. Now, what I'm about to say might shock you. I actually agree that there should be some talk about reparations for Black Americans who can prove they are descendants of slaves. But here's the caveat. I think the Democratic Party should foot the bill. That's right, guys. The party of slavery, segregation, and Jim Crow should be the ones opening up their wallets. You see, it wasn't America that enslaved Black people. That's what the Democratic Party has been telling you since Republican President Abraham Lincoln ended slavery. It was the Democratic Party and their members. They're the ones who created literacy tests to vote, black codes, and every other evil that was foisted upon Black Americans. Meanwhile, the Republican Party was out there fighting to end slavery. They were the abolitionist party, but you won't hear that from the mainstream media. Oh, no. They're too busy rewriting history faster than a teenager deletes their browser history. So there you have it, folks. The next time Kamala Harris tries to tell you she's not a radical, just remember her own words.
And yeah, I am a radical. I do believe that we need to get radical about what we are doing and take it seriously.
Right. Yeah, she's radical. And remember, in the world of politics, yesterday's radical idea is today's campaign promise and tomorrow's policy. All right? Thank you for watching. Hit the notification bell if you want to be kept up to date with Kamala's ever-shifting policy stances. I'll see you in the next one. Spread the word.
That's just the